Drake and Josh Allen?
Yeah, that's a tough one. You hate to make comparisons as a coach. It's not fair to either player, really. You see similar qualities. Obviously, the ability to throw the ball down the field, the ability to make plays with his legs. Both are very good at that. Obviously, you know, a lot of age gap there and experience gap, but you do see similar qualities. That is for sure.
Do you remember when L was coming out of Wyoming? Did you study it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Were there any similarities between these two guys in terms of their maybe their style of play?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I mean, both guys use their legs to their advantage for sure. The knock on Josh, if there was one, was just the accuracy in the throwing. But obviously he's throwing it darn well, playing at a really high level right now. But yeah, there are similarities. Excuse me, but I hate to make comparisons. I mean, obviously different players, but you do see some of the similar play style.
Ask you a little bit just about after the game with Gerard. Just how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I didn't see it. I had no idea, and then I was watching tape early in the morning, and he came in and said what he had said, and I have Gerard's back at all costs. I mean, we have a great relationship. We're very communicative, and I took no offense to that whatsoever. I think it was taken out of context, as he said, and we have a great relationship.
And been very transparent and open on play calling.
Mm-hmm.
Short yardage.
Sure.
I'm curious your thoughts. Is there with Rhett, or is it just hey, they made the plays and we did?
Yeah, I mean, there's I know Jonathan was upset, and that came out. There was nobody more pissed off than I was. I can promise you that. No good play call or no bad play call works. Like, if that play works and we block it up, we had it up. We had the right numbers for the right people, and it didn't work. Obviously in hindsight, it's easy to look back and say, I wish I'd have done something differently. That's always part of a play caller's deal after a game. Would I call that play again in that situation? Probably. We need a half a yard. We called a similar play in the goal line in the Jets game to win it. And that's an attitude play. That's a move guys off the ball, 2 lead blockers for a good running back. So unfortunately, it didn't work out, and that was a big swing in that game. We had a chance there to go down and to get back within 6 points. Thought we'd move the ball up and down the field for the most part of the day. It was a strange game in that regard, but it's tough. If it works, it's a non-issue. When it doesn't work, then you always kind of second-guess yourself on that call. But again, schematically, we had the right call on. We just didn't get the job done.
Alex, you mentioned knowing that Jonathan was upset. Do you know that strictly from the clips that have gone viral, or had you have direct communication with ownership?
The clips. That was more than anything else. Again, for you guys, I don't ever really pay attention to much. I just keep my head down and go. So it was brought up later on Monday afternoon. I had no idea after the game. So yeah, I understand his frustration. There's nothing that's not frustrating about losing. And I think we're all frustrated, and it goes at multiple levels. When you have 3 wins, those things can happen.
Throughout debriefs with them, as he's shared, do you ever have conversations with ownership about games or decisions you've made?
Yeah, throughout the course of walking through the hallways, nothing that's scheduled each week, but if they have a question, I'm always open to answer the questions.
The form of quarterback sneak can be something that's, taught, or what have you. Some are good, some aren't at it. Brady was great at it,
He was.
From what you see in practice, stuff we don't see, something that you continually work on, you see progression. What would you see from Drake as to eventually using it?
Yeah, no, I think so. I do think so. I think we can sneak with Drake. I think he's done it in the past. I'm not fearful of that as much. Really just focusing on keeping him out of harm's way and getting him through these last 3 games healthy. And that's really where it comes to. It's about developing, our quarterback. I think we all feel very confident in his abilities. At the same time, I'd hate to lose him and not let him finish out the season by using him in a way where if we didn't need to, then we didn't have to. So that's kind of my thought on that.
Alex, are you seeing the benefits of that? Sort of like, hey, and you talked about it earlier in the year when sometimes he took off. Are you seeing the benefits of him staying in the pocket and processing and going through the process that you want?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, he hasn't run as much as he needed to. He does a really good job, again, his processing, the ability to see the field, know where to go, and then know when it is time to run. I go back to a few games ago against Indy, a team that plays a ton of zone, and he saw him in man coverage, and I think he had a 41-yard scramble after that. So He sees the field really well. He understands what he needs to do and when he can and can't run and when he should or shouldn't progress. So real happy with him.
Alex, are there instances when you're preparing your script and you're scouting the opposition and you say, those are weaknesses, but we may not be able to exploit them, so I can't call those, when you build your script, and then even during the course of the game, do you have to take things out of it based on the way it starts when you see how they go?
Absolutely. Yeah, you absolutely will mark plays off if it's not a defense you expected or they've changed their game plan and it wasn't what you expected. Yeah, you definitely delete plays off your call sheet. Yeah, but we felt like we had a good matchup inside to run downhill throughout the course of the game, and the one play on the fourth down and the third down, we just didn't get that done.
How would you assess the ground game's effectiveness in recent weeks? Because it seems like you guys have built some momentum, but also in some critical situations, it seems like sometimes there have been lapses.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's situational football. That lost the game for us, and that's what I told the guys. We have to be better in those situations. We had a 3rd and 1 we didn't get. We converted on a 4th and 1 that wasn't cleanly blocked, and Ramondre made a heck of a play. We got stuffed on a 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 later. Those critical situations, short yardage, the 2-minute, 3rd downs, red zone. Again, we have to play better in situational football in all of those areas.
Alex, how was your experience playing and coaching in difficult losing seasons like this one, informing how you decide to coach your offense down the stretch? Like 3-11 playoffs out of the picture, I know this is the best way to coach them because of what I've been through already.
Yeah, I mean, it's never fun. It's never fun. The one thing I'll give these guys a ton of credit, they're still playing extremely hard. There's nobody that's tanked the season or is done for the year. These guys are playing hard for each other. I mean, we're battling right up to the very end. Drake runs in a 2-minute drive at the end of the game there. I mean, the guys are really playing hard. The big thing is just, again, this is about progression. We're trying to keep getting better and developing each week. And, we're not where we need to be, obviously, in that regard. But, again, it's about this year. They're finishing out strong this year and then taking that into next year. Whether we win 3 in a row or we lose 3 in a row, it's about playing the right way offensively. And I think those guys, and to their credit, have done that.
Have you had a conversation with Robert or Jonathan since that on Sunday?
I have not.
Alex, you mentioned keeping Drake healthy for these last 3 games and out of harm's way. And with the design quarterback runs and things like that, if let's say the record was a little bit different, would you say that would invite calling those a little bit more?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's no question. If it's 3rd and 2 and we're trying to get to a playoff spot, then we're going to use every means necessary to get those plays and put our guys in the best position. But, I've been around the quarterback run game in Cleveland, and we lost our quarterback for the year. And so I know what it entails. I know what comes with that. There is a big risk that's involved. And, again, if it's a playoff situation or it's a got to have it to win the game, possibly. But when that comes up, we'll make that determination.
Alex, you haven't talked to Robert. You mentioned you haven't talked to Robert yet. When you see a clip like that, does that compel you to want to explain to him? Like, do you want to talk to him to explain your decision making?
My door is always open. Obviously, the Crafts, I answer to those guys. So if they ever want to come down and talk, my door's open. I've had great conversations with Robert over the course of the season, Mr. Kraft, and it's been positive. So, always willing and always available.
Final question?
Alex, just wondering what you made of Keyshawn Boutte coming in and apologizing for things that he said after the game.
Yeah, that's part of receiver play. It's not changed since I played. Andre Reid didn't get enough catches. He'd be upset, and I understand that. It's the competitive nature of these guys. We had a really good conversation on Monday, and I just reiterated to him, if there's something that you see during the game, we always talk about open communication. Come to me during the game. Don't wait. Let's try to find solutions during the course of the game. So, real positive conversation with him. Excited to see him come out and make plays for us this week. Okay, thanks, guys.